alcoholic addict.
Welcome to Recovering Addict. I'm LT, your host, and I'm an alcoholic addict.
I'm Felice, the co-host, married to this guy, recovering addict.
Nice to see y'all on this Tuesday evening. Tonight we have a very tough subject, sexual abuse. I'm not too happy about going through it. I read through the book. The book just kind of gives a bunch of descriptions and symptoms and, statistics without much of an explanation of what to do. So I looked up an article, and I want to get to that article for sure by tonight, so that we can look at some of the things if you do have experienced these things in your past and your childhood. If this is the first time you're catching this show, I'm LT. I'm an alcoholic addict. Like I said before, 2 times in my life I've hit rock bottom due to drugs and alcohol. Early 2000s was meth. In my late 30s was alcohol. I've been to jail. I've had to detox. I've been to 2 different IOPs. I have 1 year clean under my belt now. Recovery finally kicked in after a 47-day relapse of when I took 3 shots of whiskey, but it restarted the technical clock of my sobriety. I did start getting better August 18th, so it's been more than a year of 2019, and I'm not looking back. And since then, major things have happened in my life. Big changes have happened in my life for the better. I have a different perspective and outlook on life. And I just want to give back and love all who are still suffering and help those along who are still in recovery and learn from those who know more than I do. And I want to put a disclaimer out there before we get into this book. I am a peer support specialist. I've gone to school for that, but I'm not a counselor. We're not doctors. We're not psychiatrists. We are no way, shape, and form, whatever, what do you call it? Professional enough to help you with all that stuff. We are here just to bring to the table some topics, point you in the right directions. So if at any time during any of the stuff we talk about you feel uncomfortable, reach out to your sponsor, reach out to your counselor, get professional help. I want to first start off this show talking about resentments, because the topic we're going to get into could cause you to rethink something you maybe have not thought of, or something you've suppressed a bit and not tackled yet. And it may bring up some resentments. And if you are, and I'm an advocate of the 12-step program. It's a great way. I think the whole world needs one, whether you're an alcoholic or an addict. But this is going to be a way to get over this, what we're about to talk about, get through these resentments as they arise. So I just want to remind people about resentments, what step 4 is all about, step 5 is all about, so that when you do feel these emotions arise during this topic we're about to read through, that you can handle it well, just like we are taught to. And, that's working the 12 steps, thinking about it, writing it down, talking to a counselor, talking to your sponsor, working through these things. That's the best way to do it. You got to feel to heal. You know what I mean? You got to talk about it and get it off your chest. Acceptance, 417 in the big book. If you haven't read that, write that down, page 417. But currently, we are going to go through this book called It Will Never Happen to Me. This is chapter 6, Sexual Abuse, part 3 of Family Violence. All this kind of stuff happens in addiction. You may have been raised in it, and you may have to deal with this stuff to understand why you act the way you act towards your social relationships that you do today. But in the meantime, I'm going to let Felice say hello. I'm not sure if I'm really going to get into the questions of the Discord. I kind of just want to get through this topic and just tackle it, get it over with, be a buffalo, charge the storm, tackle it, have you guys give us some feedback, and just see where it goes.
Yes. So, till then, let's shout out Brenda M. Sorry you couldn't make the live. Hopefully you can make one of them. I'm glad you found us, and we see your comment, so I'm glad you're here. Lish, what is up? Good evening, family. Hey, music lover. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, better together. Hi, Mo. Nice to see you. What is up? PD, did you ever get your package? Let me know. Merc, good evening, Mr. Merkalicious. Brad, what's up, all?
Hey, what's up, Brad?
Been a quiet day. Been reading and drawing all day. Very cool.
Ooh, I'd be interested to see some of your drawings.
Love all your faces. Aw, we love your face.
Hi, Facebook user.
Hi, Raina. Love you. Love you, Raina. Let's see. Share Squad.
Share Squad, Petey.
I think we're getting really close to the 100 Share Squads.
Hopefully Teeter's watching.
I know, we're definitely getting close. Know it. Let's see. Marilyn. Hello, beautiful Marilyn.
Marilyn,
good
what's
evening.
Happening? How are you?
Hey, Todd from Seattle.
Todd from Seattle.
Let's see. Who else? We got Polly in the
what's
house.
up, Polly Pinch?
Well,
Seattle's
Polly is not a fan of Seattle.
Very similar to Philly.
Both cesspools?
Yeah.
He says that's where it's at. Lies.
Philly's where it's at. That's fact.
Hello. Hello. And we have Kimmy.
Kimmy.
What is up, Kimmy?
How you doing?
Love you too, Raina.
Love you too.
That's everybody for now.
Wow, not many people tuned in today. Let's actually look
up.
Oh,
Josh Bean. There you are.
Hey, Josh, what's going on? How are you guys? He says.
Picked up
my 1 year sober on Sunday.
Woo!
From Alaska. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, your brother and sister. That's amazing.
That's way cool, dude.
Is that them in the picture?
So cool. Proud of you, bro. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the inspiration. And hope.
Hey, Raylene.
Raylene, no worries. It's all good.
Glad
We're just getting into this. What up?
That's Chase Tribe.
Oh, what's up, Chase? That's my homie. Love Chase. All right. So let's just tackle this subject head on real quick. And if there's time at the end of the show, we'll get into more of the lighter side of this channel. Hey, Don, how's it going? Josh said yes.
Yeah. That's a good picture.
So I just want to kind of get this topic over with. I'm not really comfortable with it. And I want to get into the this article that talks about healing from childhood sexual abuse. So I'm not going to get into the questions of the Discord yet today. If we have time at the end of the show, I will. But today's topic is sexual abuse. And if you are following along on this edition, It Will Never Happen to Me, we are on page 91. And here's a quote from somebody. It says, I am apprehensive talking about this problem because I am afraid of others. Hold on. Before we get there, I forgot. I wanted to go through resentments and what Joe McHugh says.
Hi, Cherie. I see you now.
Okay, Brad, I will. Suicidal Christ.
Boom.
Okay, you got to remember, when we are doing our resentments, right, we have this column. Let me see if I have it in my banners. Still uploaded. Nope, I just got the character defects. Maybe next time. But in your columns, you're going to write who you're resentful at, right? And now what we're about to go through may cause some resentments. And if it is, do a step 4 tonight. Write it down. In column 1, you're going to write who you're resentful at. Column 2, you're going to write down the cause. And then you're going to write in column 3, what did it affect? Which part of yourself did it cause fear and all that in, right? Was it your self-esteem? Was it your personal relationships? Was it material, emotional, acceptance, and sex relations? Okay, this is in the sex instinct. Was it hidden sex relations? Or your ambitions, social security, and sexual? And then column 4, what was the exact nature of the wrongs and faults and mistakes, defects, and shortcomings? Now, you may have just been a flat victim of this in this topic that we're on, but I suggest that you write it down and go through this and then find your sponsor and your counselor and talk to them about that. Because when we do step 4, we got to remember, it says, but we need to keep this in mind. As long as we are mentally replaying these resentments or fears or the guilt feelings from harms done to others, we are churning our lives over to that person and allow them to dominate us. So if this is something you're still reliving in your mind, if this happened to you as a child, you're still allowing that person to dominate your life. And that's something we want to get rid of. I know it's not easy. I'm not here saying, hey, do this and you'll be better. But these are the steps we can take to getting there. It says the work that we do in step 4 enables us to begin to know and understand ourselves. I love that part. Get to know and to understand yourselves. When we know ourselves, we know where we're going and what we stand for and how we're going to be. Think about that. When you know yourself, you're going to know where you're going. You're going to know what you stand for, and you're going to know how you're going to get there and how you are going to be. Then, if someone says something we don't like, something that might have hurt our feelings before, it's not going to hurt our feelings now. Because we know ourselves, we we're not as vulnerable as we used to be. So this is going to help you strengthen, help you grow by working this step 4 of any resentments that you may find here going through this chapter. And this is the quote I was about to read before, and I'll read it now. I am apprehensive talking about this problem because I am afraid others might find out. I was 7 when my dad began to touch me and make me touch and kiss him. He did a lot of things to me. It hurt. He used to threaten me that he would do the same thing to my younger sister if I told. I didn't know what to do when I was 18, so I stayed home another year. He died in a drinking and driving accident. Then I left home, never telling anyone. Years later, I found out he had been molesting my sister all of this time too. I am only now beginning to accept my past and present family situation. I withdraw from people when afraid because I think they might hurt me too. I don't visit my mother or my sister. I feel guilty for never going home. I always felt guilty. That's sad.
That was really sad.
It says 25 million children under the age of 11 live in homes where they are sexually abused. Incest occurs in many homes and in all social economic classes. While research concerning sexual abuse and its relationship to addictive disorders is limited and varies, it is in its conclusions, a number of studies document that over 50% of known incest victims lived in homes where alcohol abuse was a major problem. In addition, many private practitioners report 60% to 80% of the addicted women they treat are sexual abuse survivors. And Dr. Claudia says, my own research indicates 26% of females and 16% of males in alcoholics' home have been sexually abused. Sexual abuse is inappropriate sexual behavior, unusual, perpetuated by an adult with a minor, and brought about by coercion, deception, or psychological manipulation. While some victims are infants and others are in their late teens, research is saying that most females are initially approached between the ages of 5 and 8. With the sexual abuse being incestuous activity, usually continuing for a minimum of 3 years. Ugh.
Holy cow, that's a long time.
That's bad. And now if you find yourself in this situation, you're reliving it. I'm going to say this a lot. Speak to a psychologist, a counselor, reach out to your sponsor, and talk about it. You got to feel to heal, and talk to somebody that's not going to criticize, minimize anything you're going through. And that's going to help you out. Get it off your chest. Do not suppress. Do not allow this to continue to remain in your mind. And then page 417, acceptance is something we have to do. We cannot go back and change the past. That's something we cannot do. So we have to deal with it somehow if you want to live a happier life in the future. There's much less information available about sexual abuse of males. It says, my clinical experience does report a difference. Females most frequently report sexual abuse to be continuous and within the home, while males report more sexual abuse occurs outside of the home and is often a one-time only incident, or it occurs over a short duration of time. It's not uncommon for males to report one-time only incidents with different perpetrators. That's interesting. Sexual abuse also occurs on a continuum. Psychological sexual abuse involves an adult telling details about his or her sex life to a child, flirting, acting, jealousy, and some other way of manipulating a child's emotions. It occurs when the daughters are treated like wives or girlfriends and sons treated like husbands or boyfriends. Psychological abuse, also referred to as covert sexual abuse, includes inappropriate touching that appears to be accidental and the adult's habit of walking into a bathroom while a child or a teenager is showering, or seductive comments about a child's developing body. Overt abuse involves kissing, displaying one's naked body to a child in order to get a sexual response, oral, anal, sex, or penetration. I don't like this chapter at all. But this is something that happens, and it will never happen to me, growing up with addiction as youngsters, adolescents, and adults. I think I am going to go through the question of the day in the Discord just to break the tension that I feel, because I don't like reading this.
Desmond had some comments.
Go ahead.
Oh, it just says I couldn't do the 12 steps due to bad flashbacks and nightmares because of his stuff. And Brad says, do they mean went through it and are out of the situation, or do they actually mean survive as not dying?
I think both, bro. Went through it and came out of it, and they're no longer in it. And definitely, I don't know what the death rate. It doesn't really say. It could be either. Yeah, like Alish says.
All right.
But right now,
Discord.
let's get into this. This question of the day is brought to you by a lot of people. Whoa.
A lot of questions?
No, people are commenting in here. So y'all remember Discord is very organized texts. Let's keep the chat in the chat room. Let's keep the gaming talk in the gaming room. So if you have a question in the questions for live, it's for the live and to be addressed on the live. And if you have answers for it, that's fine too, because we can read your answers as well. But the chit chat, now I don't know where we're at. Okay, Alicia says, why is it important to talk to or sponsor people within the same sex or sex you identify with if you are attracted to same sex? Rephrase any way you want to make sense. So in other words, or in those words, why is it better? Let's just keep it simple. Let's just go male, female, blah. Just keep it simple. You guys can do all the pronouns later. Why is it better for a male to sponsor a male and a female to sponsor a female? And that's just sexual tension. You don't want any other situation to go in any direction, right? You don't want, you want to remove any constraint to the person that is recovering, getting better, because they're in a sick state of mind. A lot of times it happens with pastors and stuff at churches. You know, females will all of a sudden become attracted to their pastor because, you know, they're in their mind, this is something that they want. They're maybe not getting it at home or whatever, right? So it's just to get rid of any possibilities of anything that's going to hinder the growth of the person that is the newest in recovery, and then protect the sponsor as well and keep an above reproach name to keep things going. Are there situations that are different? Yeah. Like right now, I'm working with a girl, but she's the only girl in this whole group. And so I've been working with her. She's been working and hanging out with Felice too. But Alicia, I've been throwing your name out there. Just going to say that she wants to meet you. And obviously she's going to eventually ask you to be her sponsor. But I've been pushing her that direction. And so we'll see what happens there. But right now she's the only female in this group of men. And so I've been helping her as she's a part of our group. And as soon as COVID, AANA, you know, a possible time to meet up with Alicia and get them to get to know each other, you know, we're going to go the direction of the traditional male to male, female to female, to where the intimacy of the emotions and the deep talk happens between, you know, same sex, just to keep it real, keep it clean, right? Hope that answers the questions. That's what I've heard. And, you know, through experience, I've only really heard through the grapevine of things going awry and south and all that kind of stuff. Have yet to see it. But I'm only a year into this journey, so I'm sure I will one day.
Lish said, "Okay, give her my number."
Oh, sweet. Right on. Okay, so Kimmy says, after recently admitting that I am a recovering addict, after hiding or thinking I was hiding, I love that part, thinking I was hiding it, through my use and my recovery, my 18-year-old daughter has wrote me and opened up about pain and trauma and habits brought to her. What is the right way? What is the best way to acknowledge these feelings from loved ones we have unknowingly hurt? Oh, man. Do I relate to that question? See, Kimmy, I have 2 teenage boys who one left right at the very end of my active addiction in alcohol. I actually dropped him off the airport and I was trashed. I was drunk when we dropped him off. And so I was acting that, you know, jerk, drunk kind of person. And so I've hurt him. I've hurt my oldest boy. He left too, and they're both living with their mom in Washington, which, you know, we still talk and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not like we had this huge fallout or nothing. But there's still, I go through this book right now that we're talking about, It Never Happens to Me. I look at the addictive house that I raised him in with my addictive nature before I started drinking, and then the habits and all the crap that happened and the way that we raised him together because of the way my addiction spilled off onto her. the way to deal with it is to work the 12 steps and then to practice acceptance. Like I said before, as we're going through this chapter, you cannot change the past. You can ask for forgiveness. You can, practice steps 8 and 9, put them on your list, approach them when the time is right, when God, his timing is perfect, and tell him you're sorry. And all you can do from here on out is to live your life in a way that proves that your words are meaningful this time. You don't have to say sorry. You're living a life to where you never have to say sorry again, kind of a thing. You know how many times we said sorry in active addiction without any change in our life to not have to say it again. So acceptance, apologize, and change the way you live so that they can see by your actions that you are not living the way that you were living before, and it's not just an empty sorry this time.
Yeah, a sincere apology goes a really long way.
Followed with action.
Yeah.
Savage Trainer says acceptance, absolution of ego, counseling and working towards growth. Alicia says be honest, open, and willing to share and accept whatever is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Diesel, she's looking for somebody to help do a depression prevention plan. I never heard of that, but sounds like a great idea. I told everybody we're going to address it. JV says, John V, venture forward. You can catch him if he's in the chat. Drop your links, brother. Transparency is very important. Being willing to unravel and uncover everything that held up some of series of addictions and bad behaviors is strong. Identification of them all in their entirety is fundamental to full recovery. Amen.
And I would almost suggest too, maybe do family counseling together.
Family counseling.
That helped us a lot, doing counseling together.
Yeah. So family counseling. If you have the opportunity to do some type of weekly or monthly counseling where you can sit with your daughter and talk over it with a professional, highly effective. Highly effective. There you go. Merck just dropped the venture forward. Love it. You're welcome, Kimmy. I hope that helps. I mean, I can only tell you what I've gone through, and at Action, every Thursday night we had family group, and it was literally all the clients, right? On Thursday nights, their family members would come, their significant other or their daughter or son or their mother or father. And then for me, it was Felice and the kids. And we would have group therapy as a group of families. It was really cool because even just if you're not being talked to, you're seeing two other families or another family going through what you're going through. And it's a great learning experience.
Yeah. Or even just taking her with you to a couple meetings. It's eye-opening for family members to just hear other people's stories. Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette.
Hey, Jeanette.
Hey, Adrian.
Recap. We are going through Chapter 6, Sexual Abuse. And right now we just went through the questions on the Discord, questions for the live. Uncle Daddy says, when I went to make amends, I went through it with my sponsor first, like a mock interview. That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. I highly suggest that's probably a really good practice. Des says counseling is very important, both for you to do the 12 steps to make sure you're up to it if you have had sexual abuse. I wasn't ready, and it almost killed me. So from what I gather and know of Des, he's gone through what we're talking about tonight. And it took him years to get over it, to actually come out and talk about it. And he's posted about it here and there. But it sounds like take it easy. Easy does it. You don't need to fix this overnight. If it's something inside you, just start, looking at ways to meditate and get your mind going closer. And just as long as you're on that path to growth and getting over it, it doesn't matter how much time it takes. You try to do it too fast, like Des said right there, it almost killed him. So take it easy. Easy does it. Deal with it as much as you can. And just get, just keep applying pressure on it.
You're welcome, Kimmy.
All right.
Des said spot on, LT.
Thank you, Des. Wise words, my friends. I agree with you, Merk. I agree with you there, Merk.
All right. Well, he reads, I'm going to start dropping some links. So join our private Facebook group, look at our YouTube channel, and join the Discord.
You. I believe that's Jeanette. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, perpetuators seldom
That's
commit
Misha.
child.
Oh, my Misha.
Oh, Misha.
Love you, Misha.
Perpetrators, this says here, seldom commit childhood sexual abuse to solely satisfy their own sexual needs. It is an act of violence and selfishness, and it is a violation of position of trust, power, and protection. They do it to exercise power over someone, and it thrives in silence. Abusers use power, age, experience, and position to persuade, coerce, bribe, and threaten their victims into doing things that they are not old enough or emotionally mature enough to cope with or defend against. The perpetrator takes advantage of the child's emotional, social, or financial dependency on him or her. If the person who becomes sexual with the child is even just a few years older than the child or holds a position of power or authority, it is molestation. If the person is related to the child, it is incest. Both constitute the same sexual abuse. Even if the victim doesn't try to stop it, the child is not responsible for the sexual abuse. Listen to that. Even if the victim does not try to stop it, that's another thing you need to remember, and we'll go through that when we read through this article. But it's not your fault. Even if you didn't try to stop it, it's not your fault. Period. Okay? So don't blame yourself. Remember, a child who is the victim of sexual abuse usually has no place to escape and is too frightened to tell. Children are too young and immature to make the kind of decisions that are involved in this type of sexual behavior. It is a responsibility and the fault of the older, more powerful person. Sky Lover, welcome.
Hi, Jake. I've been trying to him. I'm trying.
I've been trying to listen to this. Music Lover, there's another package on the way. Oh, the book, the other type of. I'll just let it be a surprise.
What? Jake says it's difficult.
Yeah, brother. It is difficult. And if you have resentments, write them down. We threw out a huge disclaimer. I'm not sure if you were at the beginning of the show, but we've talked about it before. We're not doctors, counselors. We're here just to throw out information, hopefully give some great suggestions on what to do to possibly heal from this. And that's watch out for resentments, work through resentments, and to try to get through it. You know what I mean? And take baby steps like Des would suggest. Children don't talk about the sexual abuse for many of the same reasons they don't talk about the addiction. The onset, so many times, is a very gradual, and children may not even recognize what is happening to them until the behavior has been repeated for some time. And by then, children have often developed guilt feelings. The victims don't talk because of fear that they will not be believed, right? Here's a quote. She, mom, wouldn't have believed me, or she wouldn't have done anything about it anyway. That might have hurt more, and that would kill me.
That's what Jeanette just said. She said, or you say something and your parent doesn't believe you. Or maybe don't want to believe you. That's probably like a lot of it too.
There, man.
It's hard for both. Ugh, sad.
Yeah. One woman responded. Another woman revealed, I do remember being really scared, like I shouldn't be doing this, but he's my father. You listen to your father. I did it because he wanted me to. It was expected of me. You don't argue with family. No one has the rights in my family until you are out of the house and self-supporting. Ooh, that's a horrible power position over somebody. It is common for victims to become confused about the abuse when they are not physically forced to comply. Perpetrators often play on trust to coerce their victims into meeting their demands. It is well known that abusers often choose children starving for attention, warmth, and affection. Children from troubled families are prime victims because they are particularly desperate for any sign of attention and affection. That's evil. Susan described her stepfather as the only father she knew. Her biological father had no contact with the family. Her stepfather was the primary parent in the family. He frequently fixed the dinners, helped the children with their homework, while her mother was often at school, out with friends, or simply not wanting to do the things at home. So when he began to give her long hugs and then back rubs, it seemed to be just another way of his attending to her. When he ultimately just wanted her to touch him sexually, she said she was not scared. It was like just being nice to him for being so good to her, for her whatever. So, next paragraph. When Danny's molestation began at the age of 10, he said he also liked the attention. He said his friend's father took him to the ball games, gave him money, and then the molestation didn't hurt and felt good. At home, he didn't know when his dad would be raging next. His father never affectionately touched him or said anything nice to him, so he gravitated toward the father figure who showed him attention. It's a whole mind game, whole mind trip. This thing here could be. I know I have a cousin who was sexually abused as a child, and I remember he said that one of the hardest things he's had to deal with. He's really open about it now. One of the hardest things he had to deal with was that he would get excited before the abuse occurred. Sexual abuse is insidious types of violence that often do not require physical force. However, that does not mean the victim wanted it to happen. Susan and Danny wanted the affection and they liked the attention. They did not realize that they were being taken advantage of. They did not initially realize they were being victimized. The victims are often afraid, and the family will break up if they don't go along with the perpetrator's wants. The addictive family is already on shaky ground. That children are terrified of losing a little stability they have. They feel that if the family were to break up, they would be responsible for it. So many scary reasons to not tell, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got beautiful beginnings in the house.
Thank you.
We've missed you too. Where you been?
Hey, Petey Joyner, thank you for the heart on Facebook. Thank you for giving us a heart. If we can get some thumbs up and hearts, that would be great. Hit that like button, y'all, please. All right, so here's another quote from someone. It says, I didn't tell anybody about it. I was about 8 when it started. I had a vague idea it was something bad, but I didn't know what sex was. I only knew the way he acted with something I didn't want to be part of. I would try to avoid getting into those situations. I would come home from school late, hoping mom would get home first. I made excuses not to go places alone with him, but once it began, I just sort of passively sat there. He wouldn't talk to him. I wouldn't talk to him. And when he let go, I would get out of there as quickly as possible. I never told anyone what he was doing. Oftentimes when he came into my bedroom, I thought if I pretended I was asleep, he would go away. And I really didn't want to acknowledge that this was happening. Some sad stuff, y'all. And if this happened to you, like I said before, just, talk to a counselor, get some professional help and a sponsor.
Yeah, unwarranted guilt and shame.
Yeah.
Not being believed plays a big part of this.
Sad. All right, well, let's get out of this sad book for a moment and say hi to Cassie. What's up, Cassie?
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good. We're going through some tough ones.
I got the end of that, and I've got a quote that will hopefully bring everybody right back up.
Oh, good. What is it?
So this one's really cute, really cute. So life is like a camera. Focus on what's important. Capture the good times. Develop from the negative. And if things don't work out, just take another shot.
I like it.
Isn't that cute? Oh, I loved
That's
it.
a
I thought
good
that
one.
was so cute. Isn't that?
Yeah, you got to post
Yay.
that somewhere so I don't forget it.
Actually, okay, and I'll screenshot it because I just saw it. It had a picture of a little camera on. I was like, that's so cute. So perfect.
Yeah, send that to me.
Okay, gotcha.
Everybody's
How's everyone?
saying-
Hi, everyone. Hello. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the support. And I want to thank you for the people that went and supported my YouTube channel. Thank you, Merck. And I'm sorry, I can't remember all the other people. I'm kind of bad with that. But thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Awesomeness.
Awesome. Yeah, y'all. Thank you so much. Shree says,
Yes.
What's up? I got to get you a keychain to you. She made a keychain of you, her, and Felice.
Well, just wait, because I might, capital M-I-G-H-T, might. Don't put the pressure on me, okay, you Weavers and Jonies, please. I might, okay?
Don't tell
I
us.
might be coming up for Thanksgiving.
Ah,
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not even getting excited until you show up.
Thank you, Felice. Thank you.
How's
No,
that
but I'm
for
working on it.
pressure?
I'm working on it too. So just
Cool.
save it and hopefully I can get it then.
Cool.
Okay, cool. All right, you guys, let's bring it together. And we're going to continue to spread that love.
Spread
Love you guys
it.
so much.
Love you too.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
That was a good quote.
That was a good quote.
When she sends that to me, I will post it in the. I'll post it on the other stuff. I follow you on so many platforms that I push whichever is first.
That's Jeanette. Works for us.
It's all good. It is all good. Awesome.
Wait,
Cassie,
click.
keep spreading that love.
Click on Adrienne. She's
Where is she?
right there.
Oh.
We have new policies within the program now and have to be doing in-house meetings rather than watching the show. But to see y'all doing the meetings at a later time, we can enjoy recovery. Yay! Glad you can still pop in, though, and see us.
Yeah,
And,
don't forget
they
about our
don't count as
podcast
meetings.
we have here on YouTube, on all the platforms as well, on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock Utah time. What time is it?
I'm glad you can do both. 8:36.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's get to this last little bit, and then we'll get into the healing part. You know, the perpetuators, after all the manipulations and lies and power trips, if that's not enough, the perpetuator often threatens to hurt or even kill the victim, another family member, or a pet if the child talks about the abuse. These are children who already feel false guilt for the conflict or unspoken pain in the family. This is just one more threatening consequence of asking for help or telling the truth. What evil people that put kids through this. Yeah, check out Soul right there. Children from addicted families are less able to defend themselves against their offender because of the dynamic of growing up with addiction. Okay, now here's a whole bunch of points about these children. These children have greater difficulty identifying with their feelings. So that's going to be a tough battle for you right here in life to heal from this, because you're going to have a hard time identifying with these feelings. Oh, thank you very much, Marilyn.
Thank you.
So much appreciated. These children often have a greater fear in trusting their own perceptions and trusting others. So they might not understand how to perceive when people are, even in a normal relationship, in a flirty normal relationship, they'll have a hard time perceiving that. Or even, the next step, or even somebody just being nice and not flirting. They may take it completely wrong. Can you see my pic now? No, you're on the private side. You're in the private group. You'll either have to jump over to the Facebook page or YouTube. These children are more confused about what constitutes appropriate boundaries. So they're not sure, what's appropriate or not. Some people that have been abused clam up and are not promiscuous at all. Others go the far other side and are promiscuous is like really crazy. Having an existing base of shame as a result of living with the dynamics of addiction, shame upon shame fuels powerlessness, making it more difficult for these children to reach out for help. Powerlessness on top of powerlessness on top of shame upon shame. That is sad. These children have had to deal with a wall of denial when they attempt to discern the truth about what's going on in their life. Being so manipulated, they can't even see truth anymore. Having had to deal with a sense of powerlessness over their addictions, over the addiction, this is compounded by a sense of total powerlessness over their own bodies. Having learned that there is no safe place for them, they are locked in because there is no way for them to confront their offenders. Confrontation means shame, guilt, denial, abandonment, and possibly physical violence. That's scary.
Yeah.
These children see no way to break out of the cycle of abuse. Sexual abuse is an overwhelming, damaging, and humiliating assault on a child's mind, soul, and body.
Hey, there you are, Jeanette. You did it.
Hey, there's Jeanette. Thank you for your service.
Boom. Very cool picture.
Way cool picture. I'm going to zoom in on that. That's cool.
Looking good.
Why so serious? Good job. Thank you for the service. Happy Veterans Day to all those who served. Thank you very much. I was too much of a screw up to join the military, so here I am.
And Darla, if you ever watch the live show, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Darla. All right, so let's get into this healing one. Let's go through this article the last little bit because I don't want to leave off on just the negative note, which that's what the chapter just kind of pointed out what it is, how it happens, and all the bad stuff, right? So I went to psychcentral.com. psychcentral.com. I'll post it. Let me post this link in the description so if you guys want to read it, you can. And it's kind of cool because at the end, it's going to give us some, it's like it's talking to the counselor on how to help people deal with this. It says, sexual abuse can profoundly damage a child's sense of value, mainly by the perpetrator of the abuse, and secondarily by the non-abusive parent who either doesn't believe the child or somehow is oblivious to the abuse happening right in their own household. So often, child sex abuse occurs in families and social contexts in which the family knows and trusts the perpetrators. Sometimes children are sexually abused within families in which the non-abusive parent resides mentally in a world of make-believe where no problems exist. So, number one, there's 5 points to this healing. This is this article. This is not us. So, I would say if you do have drummed up emotions from this live stream here tonight, obviously go talk to somebody. We're just bringing it to the attention because it is the next chapter in the books that we go through. And sometimes you got to face the hard stuff. And sexual abuse is a huge thing in this world and happens predominantly in houses where one of the parents or both of the parents are addicted to some substance or alcohol. So number one is break your silence. The saying, you are as sick as your secrets definitely applies to the childhood sexual abuse. Children and adults who have been subjected to the dishonorable experience of having an adult use them for their sexual gratification have no desire ever to tell anyone of their secret, because of the deep-seated feelings of shame and humiliation. However, the only way to heal from this horrendous crime is for the victim to find her voice or his voice. Number two, grab a pen and a paper and journal. Journal often about how you have been personally affected by the abuse. List how you were betrayed by those who were supposed to protect you and nurture you. List and describe the different ways you suffered and what you lost because of the abuse. It is important to assess and face the damage in order to heal. It is important to assess and face the damage in order to heal. Number three, face the shame. There is great healing to be found in facing the shame your perpetrator put on you. Talk about it and place it off yourself and back on the shoulders of the person responsible for abusing you. Facing your shame and giving it back, figuratively, to the abuser helps you embrace your vulnerability and see yourself in a new light. That's not your shame. That's their shame. Give it back to them figuratively. And grieve. Grieve about it. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get those emotions. Grieve your losses. In order to recover from abuse, it is necessary to fully discover and complete the pain caused by your losses. You may feel many losses from being abused, such as a loss of safety, comfort, innocence, trust, a childhood, a loss of being seen, known, and valued, etc. Think specifically about how your life has been impacted by abuse and write each loss, fully allowing yourself to grieve. Write about how you've been betrayed. Share your experience with a safe listening partner. Share your experience with a safe listening partner. Counselors, professional help, psychiatrists, sponsors, anybody in your support system. It could be your best friend that you trust, that you know that ain't going to go blab their mouth. And number 5, be compassionate with yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Do not abuse or neglect your value and needs as others have. You are valuable and you have needs. Don't you go on neglecting yourself as they neglected you. Learn to talk to yourself with kindness and acceptance. Do not condemn yourself for the past or in the present. Recovery is a lifelong process in developing a constant inner compassionate companion. Become an inner compassionate companion for yourself. We talked about this in group last night, and I said one of the cool things about going on experiences solo is getting to know yourself, being comfortable with your own company. And that's kind of a part of healing. A lot of people leave the TVs on at night so they don't have to hear their own thoughts. A lot of people always have to be around somebody so they're not stuck by themselves. In recovery, it's a lifelong process, and we need to develop this inner compassionate companion and learn to enjoy our own company. And this will be a part of the healing. It's a developing constant. It will help the rest of your life being a satisfying experience. No longer do you have to be the victim to others and to the negative dialogue within your own head. Do not be a victim of others and the negative dialogue in your own head. Remind yourself that being abused is not the fault of the victim for any reason, ever. Sexual abuse is a form of trauma, and that those who have been affected suffer with post-traumatic stress. Healing requires patience, understanding, safety, and validation. Therapists helping victims of abuse should offer clients safe space and presence for facing difficult emotions and should allow clients to work at their own pace. Now, this is kind of like if you're in the position to actually helping somebody with this, they're kind of talking to you here in this article. If a child is abused prior to age 6, his memories may be repressed. Never imply that the abuse occurred by putting ideas into your client's mind. Just listen and let them remember, When individuals are in therapy learning to talk about their experiences and feelings, they will most likely have dreams, which are, in effect, the mind's effort at working through deep feelings. Encourage your client to discuss his dreams, noting that dreams are metaphors. Have him personalize what each object in the dream signifies as metaphorically. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool article here. Help clients realize that their healing is not dependent on confronting their abuser. You don't need to confront, but that the healing really is a matter of coming to terms with the abuse internally. Many times, confronting the abuser can be very invalidating and counterproductive for victims of abuse. Remind clients that all abusers, especially sexual predators, are master manipulators. And when confronted, will tend to do the same strategy to minimize, project, or deny, or other ways invalidate the victim's position. We'll take it away. It is better for the victim to just adopt a policy of no contact with their abuser, and if any confrontation is needed, then have it done merely on paper and read to a therapist. The more all of these feelings with the abuse are processed by the victim, the more thoroughly the trauma is worked through and felt to completion. There will come a day when the victim will no longer need to process his or her feelings, and she or he will realize they've been set free. Over time, the negative feelings and thoughts of abuse will dissipate, and not due to repression, but rather due to facing them and feeling their impact in the safe presence of a good therapist or other listening partner.
That was a really good article.
That was a way good article.
Read what Desmond said. He said, "You've done well, T. The subject had to be done, and as it's part of addiction for a lot more people than we realize. So well done, mate."
Thank you, Des. I love you, brother.
Ditto. Handled with integrity and compassion.
I started reading that one this morning. I worked from home today waiting on a hard drive that was wrong. And so I sat at home reading it. And as soon as I got into it, I was like, oh, I do not want to go through this. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to bring up things for people to, but if it helps and heals, then we did the right thing. But I was not comfortable.
I've said it before. There's a huge relationship between sexual abuse and opiate addiction, tree-added alcohol.
And alcohol.
Just want to drink it all away.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeanette. Yes, it was.
It's just such a personal.
So just a deep cut.
Hard.
Getting beat up and getting some bruises is one thing, but when you're just cut to the depth of your soul through trust, you know, that type of violation of power, like having that power over you, totally violated. Oh, it's just horrible.
But there's hope. There's hope in recovery. I don't want to just be on a bad note. There's hope. Desmond, he's a great example of hope. Jake's a great example of hope. He told his whole story on here. If y'all ever want to go back and watch it, it's a great story. We appreciate how open and honest both of them have been about their experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough one. If I'm not okay, we're in Utah. For if anybody doesn't know, I have issues asked. We are in Utah, northern Utah. Thank you, Alicia, for clarifying that in the Discord. Kimmy says, "Good night, y'all. What y'all doing is amazing. Your family gives me motivation to push forward." Good. Thank you so much. Those types of comments and just knowing that I can feel what you said there keeps us going. You know, the fact that we're up here sharing our experience, I want to break the stigma, and I've said this before if you've been here, of hiding our addiction. You know, I love Alcohol Anonymous. I love Crystal Methanol. I love all the NAs and AA, all the A's, right? But I'm starting to disagree with the anonymous part. I think it's time to just come out of hiding, to bring it out in the air, because I think more people are affected than not. And by I understand back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, you know, the way that addiction and mental health was treated back then, they were taking your kids and locking them up in those, you know, mental institutions and doing just some crazy research experiments on people. But now we got a good foundation, thank you to AA and the 12 steps and new modern technology. It's time to come out and let people know how we heal, and not only just us addicts, right? But as a family, people who are affected by us addicts. And that goes from parents to kids to parents, from husband to wife and wife to husband, brothers and sisters. I mean, there's more people affected by it than not affected by it. And if we can get it out there, we can take that anonymity off of our back and say, look, here's what I did to heal. I mean, just one time, one share in a meeting could literally save somebody's life. I've said it before in a few of my other videos. You may not be a EMT, an emergency room doctor, a brain surgeon, where you're actually, you know, getting your hands dirty, saving lives. But if you go out there and you share your story, that's why it's so important to go get a chip, your 30-day chip, your 60-day chip. Go to a meeting and share your story, because literally you don't know who, like, even just sharing these live streams, anyone, not just us, anybody that, you know, share John V's, Nicole from Real Talk Recovery, share her stuff. You never know who's going to hear what needs to be heard, and you let God's perfect timing work that out. You just hit the share button, or you go to the meeting and you just say, hey, this is what I did, this is how I healed. And there might be somebody you've never even seen and may not even noticed in the meeting behind you, and they leave and you've saved a life, you've restored a relationship, and that happens a lot. And continue to be a safe place for your followers. You are heroes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, big sister.
How's that? Bobby? Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
Allowing yourself to grieve is so good for you. Crying, saving with it. Yeah. I had a hard time crying my whole life until my son was in that accident. Then I snot cried for a while.
Crying's okay.
Crying's good.
Crying does not mean you're weak.
No.
It means that you're strong and you can show your emotions and grieve.
Yeah, you got to heal to feel, or feel to heal.
This is a very hard subject, but this has been a great show tonight, LT and Flace. Thanks for all you do for us on Recovering Addict. Love you always and forever. We love you, Petey. Always and forever. And hopefully that package shows up. I'm real nervous about it. There's hope for us all. I'm willing to talk to anyone in Discord in private. There you go. Desmond, awesome person.
Awesome person, Des. I love that I saw people in the general chat face-to-face talking today on the Discord. That's what it's for. You have to give it away to keep it. That is so true. Thank you, Adrian. Yeah.
Yeah, it could.
Share it. Could save somebody. I really needed help. I thought I was doing okay, but I'm not. Well, Marcus, if you are not a part of the Discord, please drop that link. Yeah, just like Alicia said, go to the Discord. You can actually just with a couple of clicks be face-to-face with somebody if you need to talk, a group of people, people that are willing to jump in. I know Des is always down to helping somebody, and so is Alicia.
Marcus, is this Facebook Marcus?
Is it?
Or is this a different Marcus? Please tell us.
Oh, well, we love you, whatever Marcus you are. Jump in that Discord and reach out.
Yes,
that's what it's for. Utah's on a lockdown, y'all. If you didn't know, I put our governor's speech in the Discord just so you can kind of know what the heck's going on around here. He declared a 2-week no social gathering. He goes, you can do everything but have fun, basically. All kids' sports are shut down.
Except for championship games.
But we don't know how they get there. It doesn't make sense. You got to wear masks everywhere now. Oh, boy.
What's going on, Marcus?
Uncle Daddy.
It is Marcus, Facebook Marcus. You know, I think about you all the time, Marcus.
Me too.
I worry about you.
Mark watched the whole thing. Did it make sense to you, Mark? Because that didn't make no dang sense what that guy said to me. Oh, nothing's shut down. You guys go to school. You go here, but no sports, no Thanksgiving, no hanging out with your friends.
I know. I can go to work in a building and work 3 feet away from my coworkers, but we can't go to lunch together because we'll get the corona.
The smartest virus in the world.
It's so smart.
He said, no, not really.
Like, I don't
Welcome to Utah.
We can't eat in the same room, but we can work in the same room.
Goodness. Felice and I aren't even in the same room right now. There's a digital wall between us.
Yeah, watch. I'll throw something. Oh.
Didn't work.
Well.
Go everywhere, but do not go around people. Yeah, they are, man. Kids are disgusting. That's why I hate like Chuck E. Cheese or Fat Cats or any of those places where they have a ton of video games, bowling alley, and pizza. I hate those places. They gross me out.
Yeah, there are. I have a friend that works up at
really?
The U of U, and she says it's packed.
Is it really?
But like the guidelines don't make any sense to slow it down. Like that's where.
Yeah, I just don't.
That's where we're confused.
If we're gonna shut down for 2 weeks, let's just get her done. Let's shut her down.
Yeah.
Back in earlier the year, nothing surprising. But you know what it is? We're in recovery, thank God. We've got tools, right? One day at a time. Easy does it. We just got to worry about today. We ain't got to worry about tomorrow. It's not even here yet. Who cares? If they shut it down, oh, well.
Then I get to sleep in, but don't tell my boss.
Yeah, I'm grateful. And we just take it as it goes. I feel bad for the people out there who are highly stressed over everything right now. They're looking at the whole election thing and, the right's freaking out over the left. The left's freaking out over the right. And us people in recovery are just like, yeah, it'll be what it is. Fat Cats is awesome, Marcus says.
The bowling is. I want to go bowling.
One day at a time, one step at a time. A lot of the world don't have the tools we have to live in peace in chaos, right? To live serene lives while the world's crashing around you. So thank God for my addiction. I don't know about y'all, but I am so grateful to be a recovering addict. I am thankful for my addiction today. Where would I be, if I wasn't freaking out over something that doesn't matter?
Yeah, I'll just change it 4 years anyways.
I used to trip out on these live streams, like they got to be just like this. But now it's like, yeah, just let them go. However they go, they go. It's just another one in the books, It's just another great thing. What time is it?
Yeah, do what Mark said, Marcus. Do that.
Yes, do it, Mark. Mark said. Mark? That's not his real name.
Who's Mark?
The things we've learned are so paramount. 100%, Jay. No doubt. Michelle, struggling really hard with chronic pain and depression. Really appreciate hanging out with you all. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's tough if it hurts, like really, And then depression, you don't want to do it, man. I've watched some people around me depressed lately, and my heart goes out to them because I'm not a very depressed person. I get into my moods, but depression hasn't ever really been a thing for me.
Yeah. Maybe Raina, I'm going to throw you out there, but maybe talk to Raina. She deals with chronic pain too. Maybe you guys can chronic pain together.
I don't know that dude.
I don't know that. Who's Mark?
All right, Serenity Prayer time. The show's not over until we say the Serenity
Living on
Prayer.
life's terms. You got it, Uncle Daddy.
Yes. Life on life's terms. There's just stuff that we can't control. And that's why we're going to pray this prayer.
That's why there's step 1.
And I would say, if you haven't, Brian, good night, brother. If you haven't looked at this prayer, I mean, really looked at this prayer and thought about it, you know, you're asking for God to grant you things, right? Acceptance. To accept things you can't change. I mean, just break it apart and think about it. And the courage to change things you can. And just the culmination, the pivot, the hinge of this verse or this prayer is the wisdom to know the difference. What? I might not know the difference? What does that mean? That means you might be trying to accept things that you can change and trying to change things that you can't. If you are doing that, you are not going to have serenity. So this is a wonderful prayer. Really meditate on it. Don't let this just be a chant we say. You know, cliches are cliches for a reason because they work and they're awesome. And this prayer is just a very vital prayer for us this day and age, us recovering addicts. So pray it with some sincere emotion and power. Contemplate and meditate on it, I challenge you. All right. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Amen.
Man, that's a beautiful prayer.
Sorry.
All righty, y'all. Stay safe.
Love you.
Stay strong. Stay somewhere. I love you all. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Glad you're here, Adrian.
Yes, glad you're here, Adrian. Marcus, get into the Discord. Jump in. Ask for help. We're here for you, and that's what it's for. Thank you, Raylene. Love you too, Brad. Until we are here again Thursday, which will be Felice and Jake, because I will be working at Action, my other IOP I work for.
And I'll tell T to check the Discord. Brad sent you some stuff.
Oh, cool. I'll check it, brother. Give me a little bit until I get home. So until then, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your program, and remember, we recover better together.